WWE Hall of Fame, Class of 2020. Hall of Fame is the Thursday before WrestleMania, which is kind of surprising. Makes you think there may be a Worlds Collide event on that Saturday, or maybe a takeover on that Saturday, and maybe a Worlds Collide thing on the Friday, which is it's different for the Hall of Fame. I think this is the first time it may be on a Thursday. But I think we talked about that last time. It was kind of odd at being on a Thursday, but regardless, there was another person on the Hall of Fame which we weren't able to get to the last time, and that was the Animal Batista. Batista, of course, being a member of Evolution, being a bigger movie star nowadays than we thought before. Obviously, success is Drax and Guardians of the Galaxy. Kind of had that in a way, bringing it into both recent Avengers movies, and having his own little things as well. Even that Stuber thing wasn't that bad, if you think about it. But we're not thinking about his movie career, even though it basically reinvented the man. But let's look at what he's done in his career, and it's not as much as our last inductees, but it still is pretty impressive. First off, for Ohio Valley Wrestling, their heavyweight title, of course, this was back when WWE had OVW as their developmental territory, where you had so many people like John Cena, Batista, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, so many people passing through there that eventually became multiple-time world champions, Hall of Famers now even, and many more. And this was before, of course, NXT was a thing. They even, at that time, they even had maybe, I think they had Heartland or Heart Pro, or one of them as developmental. I don't remember exactly because it gets really fuzzy, because you had the Million Memphis territories at the time. You had OVW, you had FCW slowly but surely becoming a thing, and many others around that time, even Deep South and around many others. But, Batista as Leviathan at that time in OVW had some good runs, even facing Undertaker and Kane respectively in different matches before moving on to the WWE. But in the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, he was the most improved wrestler in 2005, Wrestler of the Year in 2005, and ranked number 1 in the POI 500 in 2005. But for WWE, a lot of people think of his time in Evolution and how that defined his career. Around the time, of course, Evolution was Flair, Triple H, Batista, and Randy Orton. I remember many times with Batista looking at him and thinking he had a lot of potential, especially with him being teamed with Flair as a World Tag Team Champion at the time. But honestly, he's done a lot. A 4-time World Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, a 3-time World Tag Team Champion, twice with Ric Flair during the Evolution days, which honestly was a good pairing at the time to get Batista more experience at that time, and to give him a lot more seasoning, again, with someone like Flair literally with him 24/7 at times, to find his career. And once with John Cena, I think it was 2008, maybe, when they were feuding at the time, and they just, gave him a World Tag Title run. 2-time WWE Champion, a 1-time WWE Tag Team Champion, the SmackDown Tag Title, which eventually became the Raw Tag Team title, but, was the SmackDown brand of the tag title when they had the brand split with Rey Mysterio. At the time, Batista was world champion at the time of that as well. 2-time Royal Rumble winner 2005 and 2014. And if you think about it, if Batista didn't come back and win that Rumble, a lot of things could have changed. You think Batista winning that Rumble, Roman Reigns could have won that Rumble, because Roman, was in the final 2 at that point and was dominant in that Rumble. The Daniel Bryan thing probably wouldn't have happened. The Daniel Bryan thing, it eventually would have happened, but, you needed someone like Batista to kind of be that foil, kind of be the antithesis to that happening. It's sad to say that, but for better or for worse, without Batista returning at that time, we probably wouldn't have seen WrestleMania. We probably wouldn't have seen Daniel Bryan to the heights that he is now. Eventually, that probably, again, would have happened, but not at the speed that it did. And, of course, Hall of Fame for this year. For World Extreme Wrestling, the promotion owned by the Wild Samoans, and they had a big hand in training Batista at that time, a holder of their Hall of Fame in 2013. And the Wrestle Observer, for the year 2005 Triple H, which was the de facto moment of Batista going from Evolution, winning the Rumble at that time in 2005, which had the Luger Bret Hart kind of finish where they both hit, both Cena and Batista hit the floor at the same time, with Vince infamously tearing both his quads. Starting the match, Batista eventually won it and eventually became world champion at that WrestleMania. For the year 2007 with The Undertaker, which was a great, really showed what Batista could do in the ring at that time. Could really show what he could do, and it was incredible. And Most Overrated in 2006, which kind of was around the time of him just being world champion and just kind of being there, which makes sense. But, you know, overall, a lot of memories of Batista were positive at that time. Seeing a lot of potential in him at that time, and now being a member of the Hall of Fame, ironically being inducted by Fit Finlay, a man who he had several encounters with at the time in SmackDown history over the years. We don't know who's inducting the NWO, by the way, but there is a side note of him, Batista, being inducted by Finlay. Don't know how that's going to go. That'll be interesting for sure. But like we say, the Hall of Fame is the first day before WrestleMania. But again, with Batista, it's something I didn't think would happen. It is going to happen, and I'm happy that it is. But you never thought that, oh, this would happen so quickly. And when I say so quickly, I say, you know, at least as soon, because there's a lot of people I would think that would go in before Batista, but I'm not knocking it. It's just I feel a lot more people would have been before him, but it is justifiably so that he is deservingly going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.